Oh, I mean for the next minute, yeah. That might be a little more impressive.
What's that?
Get the family there.
Okay, we all
Yes.
ready to start? It is 11. We will take attendance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7 commissioners, definitely a quorum. I'm going to start with apologies for the confusion over the time, place for this meeting. I'm going to make a recommendation that as much as I love the idea and love the execution of our sort of traveling around the county, I think we should modify that for the sake of sort of convenience and regularity, and set a regular meeting time and day, and also just if it can be worked out, and we'll ask Anna's help, if it can worked out that this be the sort of standing location. If we do get an opportunity to meet somewhere else at a historic site, then we should take it. But absent that, I think we should meet at a regular time, regular date, at this regular place. I think it's easier now than downtown was in
Good
terms of
spot.
parking. Yeah, it's centrally located, so if that's okay with
Probably.
the executive's office.
Nothing but space here.
Good.
Sure you got room?
Good. Let's start off, and I might go off a little off agenda today, but let's start off given the imminent nature of the activities around the Knox commemoration. An update on where that activity stands. Sandy or Jack or who's in the best?
Sandy's close to
Okay.
it right now.
I just literally hung up with having a phone call with Lauren Roberts, who is the Saratoga County Commissioner. She's in charge of everything. Everything is well underhand. I don't know if you noticed, but yesterday there was all kind of press coverage because it started from Ticonderoga, so they were showing everything. So it is working its way towards us. There is going to be a full-blown press conference this Thursday at People's Island in the Visitor Center. It is going to be starting at 10 a.m., and they are going to be covering the entire weekend of events. So from the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th, they're going to be covering all of that at this press conference. It is starting at 10. They're going to have, I'm assuming there will be guest speakers, and then I Love New York, Saratoga 250, all of the people will be talking about the events. And then there's going to be a reenactment, a very short reenactment. They're going to have the sleds there, and they're going to show them going around. So that's the precursor coming forward. What really pertains to our commission is on Sunday at 10:30 at the mansion is going to be the handoff of the Lindstock.
10:30.
At 10:30, yeah, and you need to be there early, Jack. You need to be there like by 9:30.
At which mansion? That's
The
your
Van
mansion.
Skyke Mansion.
Oh, okay.
At the Van Skyke Mansion,
Okay.
yes. So they're staging in Waterford around 9 a.m., and they're going to go to the Knox marker, they're going to lay a wreath there, then they're coming across the bridge into Peebles. They're stopping briefly at Peebles at the breastworks, and then the whole caravan will be coming straight down through Delaware and will end up at the mansion. So the roads will be closed. We're encouraging everyone to come stand along Delaware as the procession goes by, follow it, and then you'll be coming right into the mansion. And that's where the ceremony for the Lindstock handoff will be. The mansion has been completely decorated with all kind of period correct greens. We'll be having an open house. There'll be cookies and all kind of refreshments available. And then, so at 10:30 basically is where we'll have that Lindstock handoff. I will introduce all of the commissioners that were there. All of the Saratoga County commissioners are coming. There's, I believe, a commitment from about 30 reenactors who are also coming with the sleds. And so we'll have a big bonfire, keep everybody warm. Everybody can go in for refreshments. At 12, we are supposed to be having an SAR bench dedication. I will share with you, we do not have the bench in place yet. It's on a truck somewhere. I'm hoping it's here. So that may be determined, may change. But at 12:30, all of the commissioners, everybody is invited to come in. We're having a luncheon. So there will be sandwiches, there will be hot chilies, hot soups. Please bring family, bring your children, bring your spouses. The more the merrier. We're planning to feed over 100. So, it's gonna be a really fun day. Both of the sleds will be there, I believe, at 12:30-ish. They're gonna take one of the sleds away, and it is gonna go down to Skylar Mansion. Maeve and Jack, I think, are gonna take the Linstock.
What time should the lid stop be en route
Not until after noon.
Oh, okay.
After 12, maybe even 12:30, it's only gonna take me half an hour to get there.
Great.
So nothing should really leave the mansion until 12:30. That way, everybody, can take a look at it, people that are coming for the event can view it, take pictures with it,
to? Is
whatever
there
they'd
a
like to do.
presentation of it, or is it just kind of you make eye contact and?
No, there will
it's
be a
gone?
presentation,
Okay, great.
so yes. And Jeff, I'm gonna ask you probably to speak a little bit too.
Okay.
Last I heard, and I will confirm again, I know Mayor Keeler is coming, I believe, McCoy is coming, so there's some other dignitaries that will be giving, 2-minute little speeches, so we're not gonna hold it off long, and then everybody, with the draft animals being there, everybody can take their time, talk to the reenactors, get up close with the animals, see the sleds, so it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. Something else I was gonna say, it just went right out of my head, I apologize. More to be determined.
Tomorrow, our adventure tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Maeve and I have been tasked with we're gonna lay 8 wreaths. There are 4 Knox markers within Albany County. There are a total of 30 coming down the entire route. So Maeve and I are we are going to be laying wreaths. One wreath will be with our logo from the Albany County Rev War 250 Commission. The other one will be from the DAR with our American 250. We're using live wreaths, so they will be remaining, so that passerbys can say, oh, hey, what's going on there? We're not sure, I haven't heard back if anybody's joining us from Albany, or from Town of Colony.
I think they're just on standby, so we'll just send a reminder after this meeting.
Okay,
Where you gonna be?
okay, so so the 4 markers, 2 are on Route 9, and then 1 is down on Broadway, and 1 is, where's the 4th one? On Northern Boulevard somewhere.
Oh, the one by the hospital?
Yes, by
Did you say
the
8
by
or 4?
Memorial.
8 or 4?
There are 4, but we're putting 2 wreaths at each one, so we have a total of 8 wreaths that will take around with us. So Maeve and I have got that covered.
Good.
We're
We'll
out
take
in the
pictures.
And I think we'll take pictures, and I think there could be like a funny social media of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
There will be,
where we are.
and I know that our New York State DAR regent, because all the 30 are being laid by DAR chapters, she is gonna do a huge write-up. She's gonna include pictures of
Oh,
everybody
great.
that's doing it across, for all of us, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of PR for our
Well,
committee. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I have 8 groups on Facebook. I've been posting stuff on all those groups, and that reaches a total of 40,000 people.
Oh,
So,
let's hope that they all show up.
Yeah.
Now, for
Hopefully they'll show up.
commissioners,
Be
that's.
careful what you wish for.
I know.
No.
But the important thing, and that's why I'm saying 9:30, Jack, because I have permission to use the lots at the Van Skyke Elementary School. Please get there early and park there, and then just walk down
So-
to the mansion. It's literally in our backyard.
So can I take, so Thursday's press conference,
Yes, 10
and,
a.m.
and that's at 10 a.m. at the People's.
Visitor Center.
Yeah, okay.
And then, and please come 787, either north or south, depending on where you're coming, and turn into Bridge Ave. You're gonna come to a T intersection, you're gonna see the golf course, you're gonna go around behind the pond. Van Skyke Elementary is right there with the lots. I'm also calling the country club to see if we can use their big parking spot too for overflow. But the most important thing, Delaware Ave will be closed. It's a rolling closure. So if you're coming across the 112th Street Bridge, you're not gonna get across. So try to be there by 9:30, be parked, and then come
That's-
down to the mansion.
That's on
Sunday.
That's on Sunday, okay.
That's on Sunday.
So Sunday, I just wanna actually write it out, so Sunday, it would be great for a 9:30 arrival
Yes.
to the mansion.
And what exit did you say to take on Sunday?
It's 787,
Yep.
you're gonna come 787 north,
Right.
and then take Bridge Ave.
Bridge.
Bridge Ave, and just follow Bridge to the park, and then you're right on, come right
He has
around.
swim class in the middle of the day, but he would love it. Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Oh, is there a way, we had talked about having a table of swag, it could be in the mansion.
Yeah.
And be worn for people to pick up things, is that something you wanna do, to give out our stickers or information? It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who has all of the things?
Is that the
It's
school
school
prep? I can pick it up and bring it, I'll go to the press conference on Thursday morning, so I'll pick it up and bring it to you.
And we could just drop it right, because I'm going back to the mansion to continue decorating right after that press conference.
Okay.
So, and Lauren Roberts will be there, I can introduce you to Lauren, so feel free to do that.
Okay.
And we'll have a big area that we can have a
Yeah.
table, and then let people know we exist, and
And the
you know.
Linstock is at 10:30?
The official handoff of the Linstock is at
Right.
10:30.
And we're gonna keep it there until
12:30.
12:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it has to go to Skyline.
Yeah, then it's gonna go to Skylar.
Right. And
Yes.
Skylar will expect us at 2, I think, something like that?
They're expecting you probably
Probably
around
one.
one-ish.
Yeah.
1-ish.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're scheduled for, but when it gets there, it
I'll
gets
just,
there.
yeah, I'll just email them and be like, you know,
Yes.
McEnany needs to have it.
Yes, and I believe in speaking with Lauren, unless we get an extreme snowstorm, I think they are going to try to take one of the sleds back to
Right.
Skylar. That's all weather dependent, so one would be loaded up and then one would still remain at the mansion
That's
for everybody to see,
That's great.
so.
I wonder what they're gonna do with the sleds, because if one of them were down, the legislature opens up on the first week of January. One of them could stay someplace.
That's a
down there.
conversation to have with Lauren.
Yeah,
That's all Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all Lauren. I know eventually, the museum is taking one of the sleds, and is the other sled gonna go to Boston, I think, or be somewhere in that area?
Oh, yeah.
I believe. I
Can
think
we
that's
make
where
another
the-
one? Can we have another
Oh,
one made
gosh,
so that
no.
we can?
Yeah.
Why
No.
not?
No. Oh, and that is the other piece. On
You
Saturday,
need another BOCES bunch of kids to make
Yeah.
another one.
on Saturday, I will be at the festivities in in Schuylerville.
Yeah.
And we are going to give the American History Award to all 70 of the students that
Great.
worked. So they'll get the American History
Oh, good.
Medal, they'll get their certificates. That's happening during that Knox Fest on Saturday, the day before.
What time is
Yeah.
that and where is it?
It's going to be in Fort Hardy Park.
Okay.
The ceremony, well, the Linstock and the sleds are arriving at 1:30. They're coming from their handoff ceremony. They're arriving at Fort Hardy Park at 1:30, and then their festivities go until 4. But the certificate presentation is going to be at 2:30 in heated tent.
Now, our commission committed to the 850 for the horses. Did that
Yeah,
get?
Lauren is trying to get the organization to send me the invoice.
Okay.
I haven't gotten it
Okay.
yet. I talked to her this morning.
Okay, yeah, so I think that's kind of one of the big things that we just get that money moving.
8:50?
Yeah, so we know how
Yeah.
much we have for the grants.
Right.
Some other association is gonna send the invoice.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's exciting. So I
Yeah.
hope as
Yeah.
many of you can come. Please
Yeah.
come
Where,
and join.
where are the specific asks of commissioners? So it's like we know we've got a Linstock group. Is there any tasks that you're like?
I'm going up to let George on
Oh, great,
Friday. Yeah.
great.
Uh,
It would just be, if someone would like to be at the table in the mansion, that would be fabulous, if somebody just to speak to people that are coming in, you know, about it, if Jack, if you wanna be in the house and be warm,
Yeah.
you know, after the little.
I'll definitely be
official-
floating around the table.
Yeah, but I think I'd like to have it inside the house, and
Yeah.
we have an area, used to be a gift shop area that's basically empty. So I'd like to put us in there, and then also, the little New York State, president. I put her in there with her things,
Cool.
which her project focuses on the oxen for Ticonderoga.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, it's this whole tie-in of everything, so yeah, but if we could do that, that would be great.
Wonderful. Sounds like an exciting couple of days.
Yeah.
Look forward to it. Yeah, and I'll see you on Thursday with the swag.
Okay.
Other sort of public-facing events in the last month, and I apologize, I never can remember when we've had our last meeting relative to the public event, so if I'm redundant from the last meeting, we did present at the Westerlo Historical Society, an evening presentation out there, and it was standing room only at Westerlo.
Really?
Yeah, it was really,
Did you
really
do it
good.
in the town hall or in the little?
In the
house?
library. They have a beautiful new community room at the Westerlo Library. I think it's only two years old or so. But they had to bring chairs in from the library. And, yeah, so that was Also,
I'm doing it tomorrow for the Albany Library.
okay. And we had talked at the, I think the October meeting about, an event in New Scotland that we're gonna video. Do we have any information on that, or?
Michael, were you able
For what? I
to
didn't.
do the New Scotland talk?
The one a couple weeks ago? Yeah, it's not very good though. I have it. I mean, it's not. I mean, he didn't repeat the questions back, so you don't know what they're asking. The place was full, and he would just answer. I mean, I don't know what to do with the footage. I uploaded it. I mean, on my computer. Really, I don't think there's much you can do with it. But that's your choice.
Why don't you take a look?
Yeah. Can you send it to me?
What are we talking about? This was.
Michael, could you
I
send
can
it to me?
send it. I can upload it
Or
on the
upload it?
server and then send you the link. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a presentation at the New Scotland Historical Society, or the
Yeah.
Ostermark Center.
Yeah, that's the one that you taped for us, right?
It was a Sunday night, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
No,
Sunday
I'll go
afternoon,
through it.
2:00, wasn't it?
What, yeah. I know it was a Sunday, so
Yeah, yeah.
cold Sunday.
Michael,
Yes.
would there be any way that you could come on Sunday?
What's Sunday?
It's December 14th, just to video like the Knox train coming into the mansion and then our handoff ceremony with our commissioners. Would that be possible?
What time is that? What time do you want me there? What time to start?
I would like you there by 10 o'clock or 10:30.
All right. And well, we'll talk after this.
Yes, thank you.
I think the state might also have some videographers there, but I'll have to check. I know that they're definitely the press conference and there's some at Skylar, but I'll find out if they're gonna be there.
Okay.
Yeah, can we let Michael know so?
Absolutely.
Because that would be great to have, something for us to really have out there that
Yeah.
our commissioners are really at work.
Yeah.
Okay, and also, in October, late October, Commissioner Jones and I represented the commission at the Albany County Historical Society annual dinner. And we have to, Don, if you can make sure that we've, actually processed the check
I can ask that.
for that. They let us pay after the fact, but I wanna make sure that we actually have done that. And one of the honorees that evening was Devin Lander, the state historian, and we sat with Devin, who's been a great resource for us. And he confirmed, that we'll be receiving, $20,000, from the state, for our programs next year.
I was there in cash. It was the exactly opposite sign for the Historic Resources Commission.
Yeah.
And that dragged on to the point where there's no point in going. But I did pay for it and they know that.
Nice,
So, they're in spirit.
good. Also, tomorrow I have a meeting, with a gentleman named Bob Clifford. He contacted me and is interested, there's no commission, or there is a commission in the town of Guilderland. There is no commission in either the towns of Knox or Bern, nor in the village of Altamont. So Bob's interest is in organizing a Helderberg area commission that would cover those three jurisdictions, with a specific focus on the events out in that area.
What's his name?
Bob Clifford. And he's associated with the Historic Altamont
Oh, right,
Incorporated
yeah,
Group.
yeah.
So we're meeting tomorrow, just to, he wanted to know how we could work together, how we could help, for direction, so, and he's very good, so he will follow through on whatever he says here too. So that would be great to have a new, and that was one of our ideas, was we'll sort of try to do what we can to sort of seed these activities. I have here on the agenda something at the Voorheesville Library. I don't recall.
I think they just were looking for a contact that they want someone to come and speak.
Okay.
So I think I
Yeah,
sent
I thought
them.
that was Joanne.
Yeah, Joanne.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna put together some kind of speaking thing.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do that. Or Jack, if you want to do that together, that's
Sure.
an easy one for me. We're still looking to get down your neck of the woods, Joe, when you get a chance. So we haven't, and also in the northern part of the county, we haven't been in Waterville, Cohoes, Green Island.
So we should probably, like, when we do a report to the county, talk about the different places we have touched.
Yeah.
Coes will be happy.
Yes.
We're already gonna fund them, and they're gonna have the mansion
Yes.
and the cabins.
Yeah, we
They'll-
certainly, yeah, there's,
they'll be-
Lowe's is not
they'll be-
lacking, thanks
they'll
to
be
you,
very
Shannon.
happy.
They're not lacking for activities. It's just,
Cohoes is covered.
But, yeah, our little road show has not appeared to come in,
Correct.
so.
Would you like maybe the senior citizen?
Sure.
Something like
And,
that?
you know,
'Cause
just-
I could reach out to them and see.
Yeah, and to May's point, it's good, particularly with the legislators, to say, you know, here's what we've been active in your community. Speaking of which, tonight is the county legislative meeting to approve the budget. And we made it through the committee levels, so I think we're on track, hopefully, to have our requested budget approved. So, and thank you to Anna and everyone in the county executive's office for whatever they did to shepherd that through, because that was a nice increase. I think it's a total of $130,000 for the upcoming year. So keep your fingers crossed that all goes tonight. Also, relative to the county ledge meeting tonight, there's an item on the agenda. It has not been publicly announced yet, but it is legislatively passed, so it passed through committee. And that is, there is a fund within the county budget that I think enacted 2 years ago relative to the forest preserve legislation that we introduced a few years ago, and that's to set aside, I think it's $200,000 to $250,000 a year for land acquisition. And the county chair, legislative chairwoman Cunningham proposed the first 2 initiatives. One is a project in the town of Bethlehem, and the other is a money to $150,000, I believe, towards purchase of the partial portion of the Crounce, the historic Crounce Farm,
Oh,
that will link Thatcher Park to the valley floor below. So it's the literal linkage between the Patriots and the Tories. And the state has
that we
expressed an
match-
interest.
be matching fed, state money?
Well, I think the plan, Jack, is that ultimately the county will be made whole from the state. The state's long-term plan is that the state will own the property, ultimately, so that the county will then transfer it to the state and hopefully get the initial county money reimbursed, that it can then be applied a second time. But I commend.
By the house.
I commend Chairwoman Cunningham and County Executive McCoy, because the state moves slowly, and there was a chance that we might have lost the opportunity. So really, really pleased that the county is
Yes.
A, flexible enough, and B, has enough foresight to see that this was an important purchase. So, so again,
Were
keep your
there,
fingers crossed
sorry,
for
were there
today.
2 parcels of land? There's the Crown's Farm and then there was a second
There is
acquisition
a
goal?
second-
Something in Bethlehem.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with, I don't think it's a historic site necessarily. It's a land acquisition. I think it's in North Bethlehem. I'm not on that committee anymore, so,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It was Legislator Miller, Matt Miller from Bethlehem, that was his project. But, I also have to give a commendation, you know, that the chairwoman in particular and the county executive did not see partisanship in this, right? I did not necessarily lobby for it, but that's in my district. And, you know, in days gone by, that would have been a non-starter, right? So they didn't see partisanship, they saw the value of the subject matter. So
That's great.
that,
As it should be.
absolutely, as it should be, and in other places often isn't. I'm really, really gratifying that that's the case here. So if you have any occasion to see either Chairwoman Cunningham or the county executive, please express our deep appreciation for their initiative. Let's see. I apologize, I have the agenda on my phone and it keeps closing. The 250th Bourbon, do you have an update on that?
Yeah,
On the label?
they kind of disappeared for a while, but he came back to life. Apparently they were having maybe financial difficulties, I don't know. But anyways, there was some errors in the wording of the label. stuff that was kind of the same thing that was on the old sign, they had the wrong info. So we corrected that, and there was some talk about taking off the Albany 250 in the front. So that's all been taken care of. I'm waiting to get an updated copy of the logos, and then I'll send it to everybody. But apparently that's go.
Do you mean the logos from us, or is it?
No,
Oh.
I'm waiting for their logos
Oh,
that are
their
gonna be on
logo.
the bottom. So
Got
there's
it.
the front logo, which they'll take the Albany 250 off. The back label has got the little history of the battle, which was corrected. And then our logo is on that.
Yeah, because
But
the
they may
Discover
take-
Albany because we didn't put
Yeah.
the Discover Albany logo on it.
And they may put the 250th on the front. I'm not quite sure on that. But as soon as I get copies of the new logos, I'll send them to everybody.
Don, once that is finalized, how's that gonna be marketed?
They're going to, there's, they told me there's already a liquor store on Central Avenue that's gonna take it. We get 30% online sales, and I think we get 3%, from the commercial. So we will actually make some money from the sales of the building.
Do we know where it go? Like, so when if they cut us a check, do we know where it deposits?
Well, I haven't gotten that far yet, yeah. Because it's not ready.
Right.
But yeah, and I'll talk to Patrick about how that money gets processed. But, so we should be pushing it out, I don't know, should we be pushing it in local sales? I don't know.
Right, that's weird.
That might be a little sticky.
What kind of promotion are they planning?
Well, they're gonna do a lot of PR. They got the Battle of Saratoga, they're doing all the battles. And then each of the groups that they're working with will get a percentage of the sales. So I think they're expecting us to do some kind of promotion. Although again, I don't know if we should be promoting liquor.
I mean, we have craft beverage trails and things.
Yeah.
I think it's more,
Maybe you could do that through Albany 250.
Yeah, so the Albany 250 Facebook page could definitely promote it. So I think that would be okay. Yeah, I think it's
I
just.
think if the commission promotes it, I think I can see some bad press on it.
Well, that's the Facebook page is the commission, the Albany 250. But I would think that's okay. I don't think it would be bad press to be like, hey, there's a historic label on the back here. Yeah.
Saratoga's.
Yeah, Saratoga's gone. And then I would say probably for our own promotion, because remember we laid out all the bottles and we were like, oh look, that is a trail and Albany's missing. I think we could like co-promote with Saratoga 250 and say, here's their label, here's that label.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we could contact, it just seems like something like this is special and it shouldn't be just in one store.
He offered to do tastings when I talked to him. Like, so he's like, if there was an event at one of the sites that he could come and do a tasting. That could be
I'm trying to
fun.
convince them to do the Battle of Hockey too. We'll see.
I've seen that same outfit set up at the farmer's market in Bolton Landing.
Yes.
They actually had a demo of the Battle of Normanskill
Yeah.
bottle set up.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're in an old mill too. I mean, they restored an old, I think it was historic farm or something.
Where,
So he's really into the history.
where is this?
It's up in Ticonderoga.
I would think
I
when
think
it's all said and
Tom
done,
Holmes.
we could do a nice event, like a tasting
I
something.
think he said
Yeah.
Ticonderoga.
That could be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when it's all said and done. Yeah, I think so long as we're not promoting, drinking and driving and like
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah, yeah.
stuff. But
That's
Now,
what
I
they
know
have to worry about.
you and Discover Albany are heavy into the beer people, and they have all, are we gonna do something, doesn't have to be right away, and they wanna follow something, for a beer?
we haven't had a bite yet from our locals to do.
I would think they do, we're gonna be looking for something to do
Yeah.
after, Battle of Saratoga too.
Yeah, there's we just haven't had, I've floated it to Common Roots and a few of the other Albany
Yeah.
counties, and I know right now there's a craft beverage like crisis, so they may just be making sure they're making what sells. But yeah, it's
What is the
definitely.
crisis?
Yeah,
Oh, just right. Well, people aren't drinking anymore. So you'll see a lot of the breweries,
it's
in the
closing.
news, they're closing.
So we gotta
Yes.
switch to the Albany County Cannabis Trail?
We've looked at that.
That's when I check out, I'm sorry.
It's a
Well,
thing.
They're popping up everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's
They're
like,
mushrooms.
so
Yeah.
Gen Z and whatnot, they're not
Really?
drinking, no. So, and then there's like the tariffs, like the, cans,
You
like
call it the high
aluminum
tech.
and all that. Like, so there's all kinds of reasons. But yeah, there's a lot of them have been closing locally.
Really?
Yeah.
Who did the Albany Ale?
It was Pump Station.
Oh.
He would have done anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pump Station. There could be something 9-pin. Like, I don't know when the next time they're going to release their Shaker Heritage.
Indian
cider.
Ladder folks, are they?
Indian Ladder's a good one. I've never been able to successfully. I know the brewer, but I haven't successfully connected with him. But maybe I can try again as a friend.
Shaker Heritage has been trying to set me up with them too.
Yeah,
And Pam and the other guy.
yeah, Indian Ladder. So I'll try Indian Ladder.
Yeah.
Maybe we could tie something
Indian
in
Ladder
for
doesn't
4th of
apply
July
to.
along the river. Maybe we could somehow tie in some Tuesdays or something.
Yeah.
I want to do that for 4th of July, but
There's another. I looked at the Allied. They're World War II themed, but I wonder if there's something.
That's
What about a wine?
Commissioner Jones's sister owns that.
Oh well,
So, yeah, we should get on that.
How
yeah.
about a 250 at the Y?
That would be Meadowdale, but you'd have
Well,
to
there's
brew
that.
it. You'd have to distill it now.
Well, there's
otherwise-
the Adirondack Winery.
yeah.
They make a lot of.
New brewery just opened right down the street from me, Brooklyn Loop.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Corner, it opened, I think officially this past week. Corner of Albany Street
Is that-
and 155.
Is that the one in the alley?
Oh, yeah, it used to be
no.
the
No.
Yonder Cider
Yes,
Mill.
correct.
Yeah, I've seen, yeah, we've been doing a lot of work there.
Cool.
So they were soft open for a week or two and then just officially opened up. So
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a
Sometimes.
summertime
Yeah, summer.
event.
Yeah, because sometimes what they do, because Common Roots, we've been doing more and more with them, so I think they're getting a little bit of the appetite for the community events. But sometimes what they'll do is, as much as you want, like here's an historic beer with historic ingredients. Sometimes they can just update the label,
Yeah.
and even that's like enough for, so I can kind of float around.
That's what Stewart's does all the time.
Stewart's does it all the time.
They have the special Erie
Yeah.
Canal, it's the same one they always had, they just changed the name.
Their
Call
Knox
it
Cannon.
special.
Their Knox Cannon is not an original one.
No.
It's just a repop chocolate
Do we,
chip.
do we want to do a beer with them? Like a home beer?
Probably not. I think we'll just ask. Oh, you
Well,
mean like?
yeah, because the reason why I ask is a friend of mine has a local brewer, and he's got all of the formulas for all of the local beer. The old Troy beers, the old Albany beers, and he works up in Waynesburg,
Yeah.
at that place up there. And he's, when we did the fundraiser for Weehawken a couple of years ago, he made a 1803 Troy Cable beer, which
Yeah.
they gave away as a sort of prize. But they're always looking for things to do. So
But they're
we-
out of
if-
Waynesburg, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean,
It's gonna keep kind
Yeah.
well, yeah, but,
It would be preferable if
Yeah.
I mean, we've got,
I mean, if somebody's doing something for free, does it matter where they're from?
Well, I think we have to give the right of first offer. So,
yeah,
Oh, I see.
and the precedent has been there before. We had it with, I forget what, pump station had something.
Yeah, Albany Ale.
Yeah, that was in Albany, yeah.
Yeah.
So the precedent is there, producing it in Albany County.
Well, this guy's he has the original formula, so I don't know about these other guys.
Craig Ravina has all the
He has-
formulas.
he has
So
every
he's
formula.
usually who we tap into for the
He
Albany
may
County
be,
beers.
maybe he's working with this,
Yeah.
this other guy.
Yeah.
There's some good ideas for,
Yeah.
I'm thinking warm weather, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, warm
Yeah.
weather, warm weather, summer.
Don, is there any update from the
And
town of
the Battle
Gilson on Battle of the Normanskill and your
And
Apple
Flock,
project?
and Flocking, just still, meeting with everybody, trying to come up with a budget and a plan of action. So it's just ongoing, nothing new.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I would like a sort of a sense of the commission on a couple of specific items. One is, we participated last year in the parade in Altamont. kind of did it ad hoc. Basically, my kids dressed up as George Washington and a Tory, and we had the banner. It was nice.
It looked good.
Yeah, but the organizers approached me, and for this year, and then for the 1777 or 2027, they want to sort of step it up in their own sort of presentation, and they've asked us to, if we're interested in stepping it up as well.
I've always traditionally gone and marched in both the Voorheesville and Altamont. Both of them, they do it on the same day and different from the regular.
Yeah.
Should we get some reenactors?
Well, that's the thing, and if we do, we have to start planning something now. And to Jack's point, I don't want to, and I don't want to be accused of being a hometown booster. So certainly Altamont approached us, but Voorheesville has got a wonderful parade. I think Cohoes does a parade, a Memorial Day parade.
They do a Memorial Day, yes.
Yeah. So, and the thing about the Altamont parade is always the Sunday before the
Right.
holiday weekend, so it doesn't conflict.
Combs is always the Thursday before,
And so,
Thursday night.
and so is Voorheesville.
Yeah.
They all do, but we should have something for all of them.
All of them.
I think so.
Really good. And
I think
we
so.
ought to spend some money on it too, and get something that people will say, oh, here's the 250th.
Yeah.
Do we have dates for those?
Well, whatever the Sunday is before Memorial Day weekend,
Yeah, they don't,
we,
Vernon used to have something which did compete. I don't know.
Vernon Knox do it on Memorial Day itself,
Yeah.
actually.
That makes it a little.
Memorial Day this year is the,
24.
oh, it's early. Yeah, the 24th, so it would be May 17th.
Wow.
These have already
That's
changed.
coming fast too.
Yeah.
And that's, so it would be the Altamont one.
That's the Altamont one.
And the
then
Voorheesville is on the same
No,
day.
I think Voorheesville is,
It's usually the same day.
is it? Okay.
The same day?
Or it was like, no, because it wasn't, it was just the.
I think it's the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, it was not the parade, they had a big thing at the park.
Okay.
And you'd go from one to the other on the same day. That's,
And I'm sure there'll be Fourth of July parades somewhere this year. And I would propose we basically do a 2-year run, right?
Yeah.
Consistent with our focus on 1777.
Yeah.
we should take one of our $5,000 items and create something that we could send it all over the county for
Yeah.
this.
Well, we got the 20,000.
We have the
from
state money that is.
Maybe take 5 of that.
Because we could create our own float.
Mhm.
We could just
We
pull
should have-
behind
yeah,
our,
we should
hook
have-
it, pitches and
That'd be
move it.
cool to have a float.
Yeah,
Something that.
So that's something that people are
Yeah,
yeah,
supportive
Yeah,
of.
let's do a float.
and we could use it every year.
yeah.
It's one more thing to make sure this thing goes to.
I know the
83.
Cohoes parade people, it's Michael Pisa, so I could get us an invitation to that one, and it's always the Thursday night. It kicks off at 6,
Yes.
Veterans
Ah.
Park, it's all downhill, 1 mile down, across Remsen, you're good.
So we need a wagon for a float.
Mhm.
Well, this might be cliche, but if we're looking for, a consistent theme or, like sponsoring or hiring, a fife and drum entry, I don't know how often, I'm sure, especially for 4th of July parades this upcoming year, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but.
Yeah,
Delmar has a fife and drum
Okay.
group.
Look for a
And I do
sponsor.
know
That
But
would
they
be
book
the,
fast.
it's an obvious
They book
reaction.
very
You could also look
fast.
for a sponsor.
Especially
A sponsor.
Who's Yankee Doodle, that Kraylon?
Shannon Keene is my member, she plays in that band.
Okay.
And I know their schedule is also.
Yeah, they're probably.
Because we're trying to book for 2027 for that parade, for August, for the kickoff for the Cohoes Week,
Yeah.
to celebrate the planning battles.
So we have about 5 months to all teach ourselves fife.
Fife and drum?
Yes.
Yeah. There we go.
But that's a good point, Brian, because I do know from working on the parade in the past, music is
Yeah.
hard to get, and it
Yeah.
really adds a
Well,
lot.
you
That's
could
pricey.
get the,
Yeah.
get the Melwood players.
That's
They don't,
pricey too.
and they don't march.
They don't
yeah.
They don't march, but they put them on the trailer.
No, they're classical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they play Baroque, that would be a period.
But to Brian's point, if we had something like that, then we could all just walk behind them.
Yeah,
Have the music announce us and have our banner, and that would be, that we would probably afford.
I'm sort of a parade aficionado. Well, you probably marched it more than anyone in Albany County, but just music, and it's hard to get music, and you said it's expensive. But like we went to the Schenectady Christmas parade, and it was interesting because the setting is wonderful. State Street in Schenectady looks great at night, and the crowds were huge, but the parade itself was just like a bunch of Jeeps
Yeah,
with
they're all
Christmas
vehicles.
lights.
Yes.
No-
You know, and you know, how many emergency vehicles can you see go by? And actually, my kids were
And
like,
hope-
you know,
and hope
wanted to
they
yeah,
go.
they were like ready.
They
We
were
hope
bored.
that there's no fire.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think, so actually, you know, parade management is a bit of a science.
Yeah.
And music's very important, so
I
I
mean,
like that idea, focusing.
And
on
if
it.
it was, and if you couldn't get, you know, I wonder pricing a sound system or something that could then be used for other things.
Okay,
Yeah. I would prefer live music, but.
good, well, this is something we can dive into, I just wanted to get a sense.
That's
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Bring back in old days.
Also, there's been some talk about, and I'll tell you, every time I've spoken to these community groups, most recently in Westerville, and in the question and answer with the people in the audience, they all focus on what are you doing with kids? What are you doing in the schools? So that's from the community. That's where their focus. And I'm wondering what the sense of the commission. I was thinking about maybe revisiting, redrafting the original legislation that created the commission to add a commissioner specifically with a background in primary and secondary education. You know, I think we have awesome credibility and awesome experience here, and we have collegiate level with Professor Dorsey, but we don't have that primary secondary education. Again, I just
Yeah,
wanted
my
to kind of
degree
get a sense.
But I was certified,
Okay.
but it expired.
So if that's something, what are your thoughts about?
I think it
Yeah.
can do.
I think we needed one thing, that could, because we meet at 11 a.m., it's how do we keep that educator engaged?
Right.
That would be the only, but like, you know, to Dr. Dorsey's point, you know, she's like, put me on a subcommittee, do this, do that.
Right.
That could meet at different hours, but just one thing to
That's a
think
good
about.
point. That's a good point.
But there could be a retired educator out there.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a current teacher, it could be a retired teacher.
It could be an assistant superintendent or something like that.
Yeah,
Because they're involved.
that's a good idea.
They're involved
That's
more
right.
with
It doesn't have to be in the
curriculum.
classroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
At
idea.
least in our district,
Okay.
they're involved with curriculum.
Yeah.
Getting the, in fact, if they drive the teachers, that works better.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to get the teachers
Okay.
involved.
I think
Yeah.
then what I'll do is I'll take a stab at amending the legislation and circulate it around for your thoughts on that. Also, we wanted to, an item that we did not specifically delineate in our budget request, but that we talked about previously, and again, every time we mention it at these public forums, it really engenders great interest, is the idea of the history summer camp for
Yeah.
kids, working with the Department of Parks and Recreation. And we had a preliminary meeting a while back with Parks and Recreation. They've done a great job. They have just invigorated that program. So again, with the sort of the backing of the commission, I'd like to bring that to the forefront and meet with them and see, you know, what is their process for devising a camp? You know, do they solicit experts? How do,
What about the
Sort of dive
YMCA's?
into-
Because they have some camps every year.
well, the county runs the county recreation program,
Yeah.
so it's right there, it's in-house.
Yeah.
So we should need a curriculum. kind of history.
Yeah, and again, I think, I'm gonna ask them, what do you need, how do you set this up? You know, so if someone says, hey, we really should have a chess, how do they go about and make that happen? And then maybe, and report back to the commission and see if that's something we're still interested in.
And they may not be aware, but many of our history sites have an educator coordinator or somebody, or even if they're just a small site with an executive director, they have a background in education. So it may be one of those things where it seems second nature to us, but the Parks and Rec may not know that there's employees at some of these places, even if they're part-time, dedicated specifically to
Okay,
education.
I'll mention,
Yeah.
It might be good too, and I'm not, it's been years since I've given this any attention, but I know the Child Care Coordinating Council at one point was doing stuff both with, that summer camps somehow fell in something that they were doing. Now, they changed their name, so they're not the Child Care Coordinating Council anymore. Can't remember what it's,
Bright Side Up.
Oh, Bright Side.
Yeah.
Bright Side Up.
So, and the reason they were relevant is because, there were all of these programs that were 20 hours or more that were after-school programs that also folded into what they were doing in terms of
Okay.
their concerns. So I guess I'm wondering if there are other programs around that are doing, they're non-history summer camp programs.
Mhm.
If they could give us some read on what other people are doing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, and I know we discussed this a little bit last meeting. And if possible, I think the idea of doing, a dedicated either week-long camp or day camp or whatever it might be is great, while also, keeping in mind if as an additional option or, as we move along and, kind of a dedicated camp is too big of a bite to chew. Similar to your idea, recognizing that there are camps, non-issue specific camps, throughout the summer, and tapping into some of our existing resources as a one day or an afternoon.
So bring the
on-site.
content to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not in favor of one over the other, but recognizing that those are both possible paths, that, if both make sense, great. But as going through, if we find out that, only one makes sense, kind of keeping both of those paths in mind.
Like a traveling exhibit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
One thing to keep in mind too, when I ran the planetarium and I partnered with Heritage Sites, a struggle that the schools have right now is busing.
Yeah.
So there were grants, I think they're just starting to come back post-COVID, but also that could be a thing is if, even if we were helping to sponsor a bus to get to some of these sites.
Yeah,
Or create a
I think all of that is
multi-exhibit.
great.
Yeah.
If we're able to leverage our dollars in whatever of those ways are most efficient or most effective, I think that's,
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Just to mention that the Erie Canal National Heritage Area has a program called Ticket to Ride,
Mhm.
where they fund school trips. It's, I believe it's per student or something like that,
Yeah.
but you have to apply to it. There's a limited amount of money, but I'm sure if we kind of got our foot in the door earlier, we could.
Yeah, because with Cherry Hill, we got a commitment from the school district that they paid for all of the kids' attendance so long as the grant, which we got from the Port of Albany, paid for the busing. So that was like a collaborative thing to get them moving around.
Mhm.
So there's creative ways, and then if you did get Ticket to Ride, and what was the other Every Kid in a Park, which was the state, that would also make it competitive, so you could, right?
Just to
The state,
think about.
the state museum used to have travel mobile exhibits that schools could borrow. They could get them for a week. And they gave that up because a lot of it was controversial because of Native American stuff. But why couldn't we put together a traveling exhibit and schools could borrow it for a week?
Mhm.
I think we gotta look at our budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess my
Well,
thoughts.
Like, yeah.
I don't think that would be that expensive because we're talking printed materials for the most part and maybe some artifacts.
Yeah,
And, maybe use some of this
The,
20,000 state money.
yeah,
Those boxes, the museum has those, it's a kit that travels around the schools,
yeah.
Yeah,
artifacts.
so
And I
if
have
the
a
history
Jack
teachers could
McEnany
borrow it
here.
and they get it for a week,
I have a grant
and they
one.
use it in
I
the
still have
class,
those.
then they send it back,
Yeah.
and then we send it to the next
Well, I
one.
think the best case scenario would be if we can work first and foremost with the county
Yeah.
Department of Parks,
Find out what they
figure out
need.
what they need, develop a curriculum of sorts, a resource, an expert with them, and then add these other components to it.
Yeah, because they may say, like, we don't have the bandwidth for
Yeah.
X, Y, Z, but
Yeah.
I think finding out what they want.
Yeah, Allie, who let us in, she's the Deputy Commissioner of Parks and Recreation. So they do summer camps. They don't do full day camps because that requires licensing from like the State Department of Health. So all of their summer camps are like 9 to noon. And currently, they do like 6 weeks basketball camp and things like that. Most of the summer camps are sports focused. I think they have an art one though. They also just have like a ton of after school programming and sort of like one-off programming. They're very open-minded about sort of like what sorts of things they could go after to get, you know, people involved. And they're very accessible. You know, like Allie's office is like down the hall from here, so if we're gonna be at St. Rose, that's a very easy ask of just like, she can come and attend a meeting.
So just in terms of models, I just want to throw a couple things out there. We've, for like 18, 19 years ago, and we've done a summer camp focused around abolition of the Underground Railroad, but it's also work. You know, kids do some grounds work too.
We've also done archaeology.
And we've also folded archaeology into that. We also did an archaeology camp for adults. We had a collaboration with Harkin, because Harkin has done a lot of the youth archaeology, both with ACHA and elsewhere.
We've had
in Cohoes.
for 40 years.
They've been all over the county.
So we've collaborated with them a little bit on that, but we did an adult archaeology camp where Harkin provided us with two or more archaeologists who led us in a dig. So, and it's a model that.
That's cool. That's fun.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if we, you know,
Didn't know you had adults.
Jeff, if we follow your theme of, you know, this commission being the
We
seed
just did
and
it once.
connector and facilitator, I think, you know, especially if we're looking at kids, you know, we're not needing to do, you know, a heavy, in-depth research level. You know, I think there are plenty enough resources in and around the county that if we're just the, you know, active outreach and financial connector, in order to, you know, kind of provide access to some of these programs, I think, to me, that seems like the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, you know, following your point, that's if and when I'm out and about, that's usually the type of question that I get is, you know,
Yeah,
do you guys have anything for schools? Are you doing anything for schools? You know, from the education aspect, and so kind of being that facilitator role and tapping into these existing resources, great institutions that are around the capital region, and working operationally and financially to, you know, to help that connection happen, whether it's students going here or them going to where students are. I think that should be the goal.
Yeah, like I would much prefer something like, you know, oh, there's an existing abolition camp or something like that, and making those marriages happen
Mhm.
if that's what Parks and Rec is looking for.
Good. Well, I'll reach back out and I'll work with and through you to re-engage with Albany County Parks.
We also own the Switskill farm now, just to put that back on everybody's radar, that has been officially acquired by the county as of a couple of months ago.
The Switskill farm in Vernon.
So
Is that
it's
the
not,
one with the big,
with the big lodge,
yeah.
yeah, the one that was like a Buddhist retreat for a while, yeah, so.
What's the condition of that?
Not terrible. Because the town of Bern had owned it for like a handful of years, and there was a really, really involved group of volunteers that was keeping it up and trying to have events out of there and stuff. I think there was some like water damage, just like a little, you know, there's a huge fireplace in there. So the roof was kind of wonky, and so I think DGS was gonna shore up the chimney for the winter. And we're not doing anything out of there yet. The Parks Department doesn't exactly have staff to be managing like all of the new acquisitions that the county has right now, but the land is there. There are trails to be sort of like reopened and maintained and stuff. It's there.
We now have 2 county parks then, right?
Well, there's
Lawson Lake.
Lawson Lake
And
and Lee. Technically, the rail trail counts as a part, and then Switskill, and then also the new Cohoes facility. Those are all under, plus this.
Right.
These are all Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
So there's a
what-
lot
So just like a huge
Significant.
expansion, but yeah, so
Yeah.
Switskill is a location that could be like a
That's the old
fun,
senior
yeah.
citizen up in Coles, right?
Well,
the athletic center.
Yeah.
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 that's actually a great segue because you'll recall Switskill adjoins the Dietz Family Massacre site, which was the
Yes.
bloodiest event in the Revolution.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's a really good segue for the last item that I wanted to kind of get a sense of the commission on, which is, we've talked a lot about, you know, having our focus on heritage tourism and economic development and having a you know, a legacy to leave behind, specifically this notion of a trail, a curated type trail, linking the various sites in the county from Schuyler Mansion, Tenborough, all the way out to Switskill, linking up with Lucas Herring. We did put a specific line item request for $25,000 to begin formal planning of that process in this coming fiscal year. So I'd like to not waste any time and get started right away. And I think probably the best way to do is probably reach out to Discover Albany at the ground level and say, you know, here's our money, here's what we want to do, here's what we think we'd like to do, a vision, and work with them in finding a resource for. I mean, that's not a lot of money for in the planning process, but maybe, you know, one of the firms would be willing to work with us on a.
Well, so I was separately with the county, I was talking to the county grants people. There's the Hudson Valley Greenway grants that are out there, so I think there's other grants out there to supplement some of those.
Yeah.
initiatives.
And
Could
one
that
thing
be
I.
a story project?
What's that?
Could that be one of the story?
Well, it could be, but we also have an agreement with the county with Van Wango, which now just changed, like, in some ways gave us more access to trails. So it's also like, do we enhance something we already have with the county, or are we going
Who's
for
Van Wango?
It's, so one of the trails, so it's the digital trails,
Oh,
but,
okay.
which we would also take and make, you know, hard copy as well. But I think there's some strategy. I personally like the format of story better, but strategically, if it makes sense that we already are doing with the county with craft beverage, and they're letting us just add another trail, may make more sense, but,
One thing I've learned over the last couple of years in the sort of the grant world is you don't get it unless it's according to a plan.
yes.
Right? You have to have a credible professional plan on the shelf that references or connects the specific project that you're seeking to get. So I think we have to, that's an absolute prerequisite for us
Yeah.
to have. You know, and a lot of times there's Jan Stolzenberg, there's people up in Saratoga, LA Group. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of professionals out there. So.
As somebody who's gotten over 40 grants, I saw someone know the process, and there is a list of foundations I can get from this that we want to pursue grants that specifically give money for history stuff
Yeah.
and environment. We probably want to tie in environment too.
But the point we're at now is to develop our plan, but then
Right,
will
have a
be used
plan,
to go
right.
get the grants to actually
Right.
pay for the
Right.
building out of the thing.
Yeah, but there's money out there, a lot of money out there.
Good, well, I'll reach out to Maeve.
Yeah, and then it goes to Katie, because you asked me about marketing, I'm like, so it's really like Katie and Aaron who are our marketing team. They are a team of two, but they're mighty, and kind of picking their brain if it makes sense.
And I've said, it's funny, you've heard me say this several times to Supervisor Barber and Gilda, and I've said it to other people in New Scotland as well, which is, you know, we have this vision that goes from downtown Albany all the way out to the other county-owned facility at Switskill. It's still up in the air as to what sites between those 2 points would be included. And we're not looking at developing sites ourselves, we're looking at linking sites that are developed. So, you know, I've said to Supervisor Barber, if, you know, please get the Battle of Normanskill site to a point where it's worthy to be included in this, because and
It's centered.
right, and we're not just talking about a blue and yellow New York State historic marker.
Right.
Right, this has got to be, you know, we talked about it anecdotally. It's we want to be in a place. I always use in my mind's eye the well-to-do, recently retired couple outside of Atlanta that have a lot of money to spend. They go on every Viking cruise.
Right.
They go to Gettysburg. They go right. They're historically minded. You know, what can we present to them that is worthy of their patronage, so that they would say, oh yeah, sure, we'll fly into Albany Airport, we'll spend, you know, a couple nights at Albany County's hotels, and right, so it's a high bar, but we've got the historic content,
Yeah.
right? What we're lacking is the sort of the connective tissue, putting that together. So that we'll get that going first thing in the new year.
Great.
That's all I had on my list. Any other?
On the Heritage Apples,
Oh, yeah, the
I took
apples.
3 samples from what Shaker thinks is the 3 oldest trees, one maybe an actual annual tree. And I sent them off to Washington University where they do genetic testing. And we'll find out exactly what those 3 species are. If indeed they're 18th century apples.
Can you
It
just
takes-
give a little background context?
Oh,
on
yeah.
that?
So, for the town of Gilliland, we started this Heritage Apple Orchard, where we're getting 15 heritage apples that used to be grown in New York State from the 18th century up, as part of the town of Gilliland project. And then Jeff would like to have one in Albany County, so a similar thing. So I've been trying to find out, does anybody else have, heritage apples around here? And I talked to the Shakers, of course, Ann Lee had her own orchard, and they have, I think, about 20 trees. I mean, it was an abandoned orchard, but they've been bringing it back, and the people at Nine Pin have been harvesting some of the apples and making them quite exciting. Anyway, so I wanted to see if I could get some of those apples for the Gilliland one. And so there's a thing called the Lost Apple Project, which started in Washington. And there's a group of people been running around the country trying to find abandoned apple trees, 18th, 19th century. And they found, I don't know, several hundred. There were 17,000 varieties of apples, believe it or not. And so they've been grafting them and bringing them back to life. And so I've been working with them. So we're getting 15 New York State varieties in the spring that we're going to plant in Gilliland. But then with the Shaker one, we thought, well, why don't we try to get that orchard going again? So I'm working with them, but they don't know they think they know what apples and trees they have, but they're not quite sure. So this lab at Washington University actually does genetic testing, 50 bucks a tree. I had somebody donate $500 to my nonprofit. We're taking that money and we're paying for genetic testing. So unfortunately, it takes 3 to 4 months to get the results. So I don't know when we're going to get the results of this. But once we know,
This whole area of heritage breed is a really, I find very interesting, because it's
Well,
a nice
Jonathan,
intersection of natural history and actual history, right?
Albany County was one of the early agricultural experimenters. And Jesse Buell, who lives right up here, had 150 apple trees. And he named something like the Jonathan. So Albany County has a really good agricultural industry.
The county-
that we
yeah.
need to,
The county also, totally unknown to me until recently, is also some place where some of the first animal breeds were introduced in the United States. Christopher Dunn from Dunnsville, western part of the county, was the first person to import Cotswold sheep in the United States. Matthew Bullock in the town of New Scotland on Bullock Road was the first
Yep.
person to introduce shorthorn cattle into the United States.
Corning also did something like
That's
that.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't think of Albany
Yeah.
County as, but it was, I think it was a combination of, there was a lot of wealth here at the time.
Gentlemen farmers.
It was still very agricultural, so it was a perfect environment for that kind of stuff. So,
Well, the cultivator, we had some really.
well, yeah, it was the center of agricultural publications.
Yes.
Question about that, so. Good, well, that's an exciting project. Anything else?
Grants. I
Yes,
don't know if that's
that's right.
new or, that's the big one. Sorry.
Oh, no, thank you
Yeah.
for shepherding.
Yeah. So, Jen Dorsey, so first of all, as you know, I talked to the county how their process for both RFPs as well as grants and their scoring sheet is really simple. It's excellent, good, satisfactory, marginal, unsatisfactory. So we use, it's about as generic as it can be, so for,
One page.
well, it's back and front.
That counts,
So,
that counts.
so using that, if we want to in 2026 amend it to say, scholarly or public, to make it more for us, but for now, generic is what we went with. Unfortunately, my printer makes it teeny tiny, but I did email everybody the link to the spreadsheet that Jen Dorsey created. So, you know, I'd hope we'd get more commissioners on this, but essentially, you know, she added the grant title, she put a quick summary of it, and then, you know, there was a scoring line for me and a scoring line for her and what our recommendation is. Kind of the important thing with a subcommittee is that we are not making the final determination. It's just kind of saying, hey, this is what we saw, what, you know, what do you think? So we know that, like, City of Cohoes, we already committed to fully funding it, and I noticed, Sandy, that was already in there, that the fully fund, because we voted on that anyway. That was the 5,000, well, for the grant ask was 4,930. So, but like when Jen read it, because she hadn't heard the verbal pitch that we heard with the grant, so she had questions, and I said, oh, you know, I told her exactly what was going on, and Sandy said, oh, we'll get a commitment from the school district that, you know, to make sure that education portion, which we heard verbally, but it's that kind of thing. It's just making sure everything's on the up and up and all that. So, but I just thought, so normally I think what would happen is the grant subcommittee would meet. We do have a recommendation. We tried doing a rolling grant, but that makes it hard to score against other ones. So I'd like to make a recommendation in 2026 is that we have a grant schedule. So we have, like, I don't know, we have a spring and a winter, or maybe there's just one and done. But I would definitely recommend that moving forward. And generally what would happen is I think some of the lower scoring ones, we might not even bring to the full commission. I just figured for this first one, because we're like getting on track with it, I would let you know summaries. I apologize if you did not get a chance to read. You know, I know that.
When did you send it?
What's that?
When did you send it?
When did I send that? I sent that when I said Friday. Yeah, on Friday. So
I haven't got it.
it was definitely in that, because I sent it to the full commission in the reply all. So it's in a link within the text. So there's so I'll just kind of do the summaries very quickly and what our recommendation was. The thing is it does come, our recommendation, if we did exactly as it says, comes out to $17,430. I don't know how much money we have to give for the grant.
Well, we got 20, the last number that Pat gave me was 23,000,
Okay.
but we have to subtract the
830.
knocks, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's just something we really want to make sure. I also do want to put a red flag on this, because even as early as 8 o'clock this morning, I had a person write me saying I submitted in August and I won't be able to fund it if I don't know until next week, or I won't be able to do it. So the sooner we can, like, expedite this would be better. So there was the Guilderland Library. They were only asking for $1,000, which was about exhibitry. That one I do have here. I didn't print them all up, but here we go. So if you want to take a look at the Guilderland Gets Historical, they celebrate 250th anniversary of American Revolution. We'll celebrate the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution through collections, historic displays, programming, oral presentations, multi-organizational book club series. For $1,000, that seemed very, very reasonable.
They also have a nice exhibit space in the lobby.
Yeah, and they want to work, and they're connected with us, they've communicated with ahead of time. So that was a recommendation for full funding at $1,000. We know that the City of Cohoes, that was something that we all agreed with. We recommended full funding and just asked for our records for a commitment from the teacher, the lead teacher who's working there.
That was how much, 3,000?
Yep, the 4930. And at the bottom of the Excel, she has the summary here. There was the Guilderland Historical Society. They had an application for a historic marker with the Terpenning sisters. We did not recommend funding. You know, my concern was that they applied to the Pomeroy Foundation, who has really strict rules, and that it was rejected.
By the way, they did get funding because they did like a GoFundMe.
Great. Yeah.
What's the significance of the Turkish sisters?
You might know.
It was there's no women, there was no celebration of women's contributions, and this was a particular family that
Yeah, the sense was, I think Guilderland has 30 some odd historic markers and
Yeah,
only
and-
one mentions a woman.
Yeah.
And the Turpenning sisters were married two brothers, the Van Auken brothers, both of whom served. And Arthur Gregg in his Othelloburg history of the 1930s focused on the sisters and what they had to endure on the home front while the men went off to fight.
But unfortunately, there were no primary sources, and that's why they got turned out by primary. Not that that was a bad project, but they just were very stiff about having primary sources.
And that is one you'll notice, if you do get a chance to open this up, we don't have, no, we have revise or resubmit. So that is something that, you know, and I'll get to one of them, there may be something that we know is like, ooh, if you just had this, you know, that is something that we can soften the blow and encourage people to resubmit, which would be even better if we have a solid grant. Here's another one we didn't fund. This was Schenectady Theater for Children. Schenectady Theater for Children, they've been around for ages, and they hire actors who will research on storytellers. So I forget who they were. They weren't Albany County. They weren't Albany County. I think it was like John Adams and whatnot. And they were specifically looking at Schenectady spaces, so they just didn't read the grant close enough. That being said, I would encourage them to resubmit if they can find a partnership with a school or a library in Albany County. And a lot of these figures, as we know, these founding fathers, you know, you can find an Albany connection. So that was one that I figured, you know, it definitely doesn't qualify for this one. I would encourage them to resubmit. This is, so Shaker Heritage, the music of Ann Lee. So this one, but this one would be, they're asking for full funding of $5,000. I'm hoping I brought it. You know, we know that there's might be some interest coming up with the Ann Lee movie, but they are tying in the story of Ann Lee with the Revolution, and they have a, here it is, sorry, they're all out of order. They have a local composer who's also a historian to create a performance on it. So, oh, here we go. Make sure I just got the right one. Yeah, so this is it. Alright, so we can take it. This one was very, let me see if I have a better summary here. A musical performance featuring the work of composer Kevin Siegfried to, quote, mark the semi-quincentennial of both our nation's founding and the founding of America's first Shaker village right here in Albany County. Jens notes the grant will underwrite speaker fees and lodging for internationally recognized composer and choral group. The program will include a choral performance, lecture, and choral release and is slated for May 2026. Goals are achievable, and I anticipate the program will have broad appeal and thereby meet the Commission's goal of educating and encouraging public audiences to explore and engage with the history of Albany County and the American Revolution. Staff record of achievement is in developing and implementing public programming indicates a limited risk of unsuccessful contract performance. Recommended full funding. So I passed that one around because it's a meaty one. They did their research on
And
it,
they do good stuff.
and they do very good
It's
stuff.
also in the town of Albany.
Yes.
It's on a county park.
But here is where we may, so Siena University, Dr. Krista Dennis, who wrote our commission before the grants, told us about her project, also wrote a very, very competitive grant. And here we go. She's well known in the history community for bringing immersive theater to heritage sites. So she also works with the students, and the students are the performers alongside professional. And you go into these historic sites, and they transform it and tell the story. So she has commitment. It's from Shaker Heritage to do it, and she has worked with Shaker Heritage before, but also the Mabee Farm. So, which is outside of our county. I'm not opposed to artists, again, you know, like creating something within Albany County, but the priority should be Albany County. So I'll give Jen's again. Dr. Dennis has a strong record of producing theatrical performances on historic themes that have broad popular appeal. The proposed performances will be staged at historic sites, including Shaker Heritage, and will thereby doubly meet the commission's goal of educating, encouraging public audiences to explore and engage with the history of the American Revolution in Albany County related to the Revolution.
So they're doing more than one spot.
Well, that's the question. Is it something, do we put a mandate on there, like needs to be more performances here? So I just wanna table that one for a little bit, the Sienna one, because we just might wanna have another conversation. It would also be funding Shaker Heritage again. And then the last one was the Women's Club in Albany. That one, Don, I found that one buried in the 250, so I
Yeah.
sent that after. They want to hold a public lecture commemorating the contributions of women and indigenous people to the American Revolution. The speaker will be Professor Maeve Kane, a historian from New Albany who specializes in early American indigenous history.
She's SUNY Albany.
She's SUNY Albany,
She's into the revolution.
and Haudenosaunee, which is a
Yeah.
space that we haven't, been able to successfully connect with. She is highly, highly regarded. This group was asking for $3,750, but that was for the rental of the house and the speaker fee and the speakers, and we felt that that was a partial funding, so like $1,500, which would cover Maeve Kane and the equipment for hers.
You say the rental of the house, where is that proposed to be?
That's in the city of Albany, next to like Washington.
So you would fund how much?
1,500.
So all of the recommendations are within the 25,000 that we had allocated.
That's where, so it comes to 17,430, and I did it on my calculator too to make sure the Excel sheet was doing that.
And that includes Coles.
So that includes.
And that includes Cahoes. Does not include the 850 for the.
So Gilderland Library, Cahoes,
Mhm.
Shaker Heritage, and Women's Club.
And then Siena University, who's also
Oh.
asking for the 5,000 if we want to put them before.
So you wanted to delay that one,
No, well, so that is, and I will say, that is the artist. She reached out to me, because she's reached out to the commission, and she reached out saying if she doesn't know by this week, because she would have to write it over the winter break. So that's one
Is
that.
that Maeve King?
Or can we-
No, that's Krista Dennis.
So could we just say Shaker has to be first?
That's,
But that 5,000 is included in your 17,000 total.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have,
So we could just say that the Shaker Heritage site has to be the first performance.
or it's limited. So I move we adopt the committee's recommendations.
can I just make an observation first though? Is there any correlation or cooperation between the two at the Shaker site that are, or they're just completely independent?
I think it's, do you mean like the content-wise of the show?
Or the staging and the,
I think it's more makes it so that it can travel, like when she did Votes for Women.
okay.
So she did a whole thing on during oh my gosh, during suffrage, the anniversary of suffrage. So they took that show to Pembroke Mansion, to Cherry Hill, and to the New York State Capitol building.
I think one way to sort of justify the sort of double appropriation to Shaker is if we had a mandate that they work with us on promotion.
Oh.
I think both of those proposals lend themselves to the type of thing that we hear on WAMC, where they come in and they have a half-hour segment, right? I mean, you certainly hear Dutchess County on WAMC a lot, the Dutchess County AMRAD 250, right?
Yeah.
So if we could require that they work with us
Yeah.
to have suitable promotion
Mhm.
for both
I think,
the presentations, I think that
yeah.
we'd be getting a lot of bang for the buck.
I think Shaker Heritage, for sure. Krista Dennis has always worked she's gotten hospitality grants before, and has had no problem with that,
She's on Cherry Hills board.
and she's on Cherry Hills
So
board.
we would just say, upon acceptance, you
Mhm.
agree that we will jointly promote this with us.
I think everybody should do that. I think that's a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be, yeah.
Yeah.
And just as an aside before, and so Paul has a standing motion, which I'll second,
Mhm.
but I also think we should summarize all of these, maybe in your spreadsheet or some other
Yep.
form, and share them with Mary Rozak, the county,
Love that.
as well as Sherwin Cunningham's press people,
Mhm.
because this is county money, so
Sure.
they should have the
Yeah.
opportunity to figure out if and when, how they'd like to promote the announcement. So,
A lot of times what the hospitality grant does is, you know, so a letter will go out and I think probably from the 250 email, because that was something Cameron, I think, was saying, try to keep it from the 250 email. And so I think that's good, a mandate for promotion, and then, and ask for like, I don't think a full report, but something like, you know, we need to see pictures, we need to see this,
Right.
and then don't announce it until the county. Like, we'll still get you your check, we'll still get this, but don't
Yeah.
put it on your social
Right.
media until the county
That's
says
a good idea.
you can do it, like, and then it,
yeah.
yeah.
And it may be that the executive or the judge don't, it's not big, maybe a number of reasons where they may pass, in which case then we can do our own promotion, but I think we need to afford that
Yeah.
first.
I like that.
It's a
And with
reminder
that-
that it's county money.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, I love that.
With that, I'll second Paul's motion with the notation with extreme gratitude to you and Jennifer for taking the lead on this.
The only thing that's
All right.
missing here, give me the, we're
I
not-
second, yeah, we need to vote.
All right.
Let's vote.
Wait.
Did you want,
No, I
You
just
voted on?
wanted to know where to put the $800, for the.
Oh, the 850?
Yeah.
The 850 is for the Knox Cannon train, is that
It's
going?
the draft animals.
The draft animals.
And it'll be paid directly to, well, we're in charge of that, but I assume it go right to the draft animal owners.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So that brings the dollar amount is now 17,430 is now up.
Mhm.
Okay, we need to find that.
Okay.
So just to clarify, we have $23,000 that we need to distribute before the 31st of December, that is correct? This, we're talking about our 2025 money, so that must be distributed and cut before the 31st, so we don't lose it.
well, my sense is we have to spend it. We don't have to spend it specifically on the grant.
Okay, so if we have 830 for horses, 4930 for Cahoes, 5,000 for Shaker, 5,000 for Sienna and Shaker, 1,500 for the women's club, that still leaves us $5,740 on the table that we should think about.
Do we know for
allocating.
sure we have, like, I guess that's my worry, because I know
Let
we
me,
had a
let me ask
couple.
Patrick.
Yeah, I'd like to do a check on that.
Is there any way, it'd be nice if we could get some kind of a ledger amongst them from the county, so we know exactly how much we have, and you're smiling.
So you just need a checkbook.
Is that possible? To get some kind of a monthly statement from the
They-
county on how much we have?
They probably, I don't know, do you know, do they traditionally, do we?
I don't know, you're funded through a line in the legislature's budget, so that is a little bit outside of what I'm, also, I'm not a budgeter.
Yeah,
I
so,
think
so,
that's- that's Patrick.
yeah.
I also, personally, I never subscribe to the use it or lose it. I mean, it's taxpayer money, so if it's not,
Yes.
you know,
I thought that was mentioned with Patrick a long time ago.
We did.
So that's where,
we did.
I was
And-
panicking, we're
the-
leaving money on the
Well,
table.
and traditionally, the downside of leaving money on this table is it then looks as if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
I don't think we run that risk here. So as opposed to scrambling to find something to spend our money on, I'd rather just
I think,
let
and
it
also
go.
I think pretty easy to just like encumber $5,000 for use for next year.
Yeah.
You could always buy more
Roll
herbs.
it over.
Yeah, I mean, if all of these grants were funded, like, that's another, like, we could have done that, it just happened that the grants that we have weren't competitive enough
Sure,
to,
yeah.
to absorb that, so I would, if we can roll,
Roll it into next year's.
and then keep
That's
that,
great.
I love
Yeah, I
that.
brought that up to
Yeah.
make sure that we can do that.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, then I'd like to make a motion to act on Maeve's recommendation that for calendar fiscal year 2026, that we alter the grant process to have set grant periods, 2 a year?
If we can do 2 a year, I like
Okay.
that.
Two a year, as opposed to the rolling.
I second.
Second by Sandy. All those in favor?
Aye. And then, now that you've seen how we do this, if anyone else would like to join, it took Jen and I, probably like an hour and a half to 2 of us kind of going through it. So, many kudos to her for putting that together.
So I'll bring up a draft plan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we properly seconded. I'd like to make a resolution confirming that the dollars that we just discussed here, the $850,000, the $500,000 for Shaker, the $1,500 for the Women's Club, and the $4,930. That also includes the $5,000 for Siena University. Right, that,
If it comes to 17,430, then,
Yes.
and that includes codes and everything.
Yeah.
no, that does not.
But it
plus
does not
the
include,
50.
plus 850.
So we have to raise the $850, but that we agree with
Yes.
all these.
Yeah. I think Paul's motion was to accept the subcommittee's recommendations.
Okay.
That's- I think that's
Yeah. And next time we do this, I think some of the ones we don't recommend, I don't think we'll bring to the committee,
Okay.
but we'll for process and stuff. Yeah, just so you can see what we were thinking.
great.
So with the Schenectady Theater, I should just say, unfortunately, we could, because it wasn't enough Albany County, but you could resubmit it next year.
Yeah.
And you can
Encourage it.
focus on Albany County.
Yeah, and I would just say, send it to Jeff and I, just so we can make sure language wise,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that
It'd
goes
be
to
one
the county.
thing if they were gonna do it in Tower Center Park or do it in Washington Park, Lake House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and they did, the county did recommend those come from 250, so just make sure that.
And the Siena one, I'm gonna say, you gotta perform Albany County first.
Yeah, yep.
So who can you get a summary to Anna so that she can share with Mary Rozak, who's the Director of
Yeah,
Communications?
sure.
Okay, anything else?
On that agenda, there's a ship at port.
What?
Oh, I think the tall ships.
Oh, right.
The no update yet, so, Homeland Security reached out asking, is tall ships coming? So, just so you all know, it's like, why is this like
So they
so,
don't know?
DHS, federal?
yeah, federal, so federal is asking, they heard a rumor. I think I might have, Jill went back, cause I asked Devin, he still didn't know, the Port of Albany still didn't know, and I think I was supposed to connect them, cause they both were like, we'll talk to each other, and I think I was supposed to make that date. and-
That's kind of funny if Homeland Security doesn't know.
Yeah, and that was as of a month ago, so no updates there.
I
But
feel like a book could be written
just on the tall ships. Shouldn't be that hard. I know,
Okay.
but again, for everyone's like, oh, what's going on with that? Like, don't worry, it's not
Maybe
just
we could
us.
bring the Half Moon back.
From the horn.
Yeah.
So we said earlier, we're gonna try to set a
Yeah.
set date
Here.
here. We were doing Tuesdays, the end of the month, 11 o'clock, so what's that put us in January?
26, no, 27.
No, what am I? I'm showing, Tuesday, right. You wanna do the 27th?
27th,
Yeah.
11th. Every time.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Bad luck.
This is easy to get to.
Yeah.
And the parking, at least for the moment, is
Market
very
as
easy.
a whole.
Do we get free lunch?
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Joe, second? Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
And I wish everybody a very, very happy and
Yes.
blessed holiday season.
See you and you on Thursday.
Yes.